There's a photograph from 1962. Audrey Hepburn on the set of Paris When It Sizzles, sitting next to Anthony Perkins. They're between takes, relaxed, laughing. And in Audrey's hand, clearly visible, is a cigarette. Look at any published version of that photograph in magazines from 1962, and you'll notice something strange. The cigarette is gone, edited out, airbrushed away, erased from history. Because Audrey Hepburn, America's princess, the embodiment of elegance and health, wasn't supposed to smoke, but she did. 3 packs a day, 60 cigarettes, every single day, for 48 years. This is the story of the addiction that killed her, the secret Hollywood spent decades hiding, and why the woman who became a UNICEF ambassador, saving children around the world, couldn't save herself. April 1945, Arnhem, Netherlands. Audrey Hepburn is 16 years old and weighing 88 pounds. She's just survived the hunger winter, 5 months of Nazi-imposed starvation that killed over 20,000 Dutch civilians. She's eaten tulip bulbs, boiled grass, anything that might have calories. Her body is consuming itself. She has anemia, jaundice, edema. She's dying. Then, on an April morning, she hears it. Trucks, engines, voices shouting in English. The Canadians have arrived. Liberation. Allied soldiers jump from their vehicles, and the starving Dutch civilians rush forward. The soldiers throw food, chocolate, cigarettes. Audrey catches something. Later, she'll describe this moment in an interview. When I ran out to welcome the soldiers, I inhaled their petrol fumes as if it were a priceless perfume, and I demanded a cigarette, even though it made me choke. She's 16 years old. She's never smoked before. The cigarette makes her cough, makes her sick, but she smokes it anyway, because it's from the liberators, because it's freedom, because after 5 years of Nazi occupation and 5 months of starvation, anything the Allies give her feels like salvation. That cigarette is her first. It won't be her last. Not even close. 1945 to 1950. Audrey moves to Amsterdam, then London. She's training as a ballet dancer, but malnutrition has permanently damaged her body. She'll never be strong enough for a prima ballerina career. She turns to acting, small roles, chorus girl work, modeling jobs. The pay is terrible. The work is exhausting. She's stressed constantly, worried about money, about her mother, about whether she'll ever make it. And she smokes. Everyone smokes in the 1940s. It's not just accepted, it's glamorous. Movie stars smoke on screen. Doctors recommend cigarettes for stress relief. Advertisements show pregnant women smoking, athletes smoking, even Santa Claus smoking. Cigarette companies sponsor television shows. There are ashtrays in hospital waiting rooms, in airplanes, in grocery stores. Smoking isn't a vice. It's normal. It's sophisticated. It's what adults do, and Audrey is trying desperately to be a sophisticated adult. She's insecure about her acting, about her looks, about her accent. She feels awkward, gangly, too tall, too thin, too different. But when she lights a cigarette, she feels elegant, confident, European. It calms her nerves, suppresses her appetite, gives her something to do with her hands during uncomfortable moments. So she smokes, 1 pack a day, then 2 packs, then more. 1953. Audrey films Roman Holiday with Gregory Peck. The movie makes her a star overnight. She's 24 years old and suddenly one of the most famous women in the world. The pressure is enormous. Magazine covers, interviews, photo shoots, award ceremonies. Everyone wants a piece of her. The studio controls her image carefully. Elegant, refined, untouchable. America's princess. The publicity machine creates a myth. Audrey Hepburn doesn't sweat, doesn't curse, doesn't have bad habits. She's perfect. Pure. Almost otherworldly. Except she's not. She's a 24-year-old woman with crippling anxiety who smokes constantly. On the set of Roman Holiday, she's nervous about every scene. She's never carried a film before. Gregory Peck is established, confident. She's terrified she'll ruin everything. Between takes, she smokes. After difficult scenes, she smokes. During lunch breaks, she smokes. The crew sees it. Peck sees it. Director William Wyler sees it. But the public doesn't. Because in every behind-the-scenes photo released to the press, the cigarettes are edited out. 1954, Sabrina. Audrey is filming with Humphrey Bogart and William Holden. She's having a secret affair with Holden, the married, vasectomied William Holden who can't give her the children she desperately wants. The stress is killing her. She's in love. She's heartbroken. She's working 18-hour days. She's barely eating. And she's smoking 3 packs a day. 60 cigarettes. Crew members later report seeing her light one cigarette from the ember of another. Chain smoking. Constantly. On the set of Sabrina, costume designer Edith Head notices Audrey's fingers are starting to yellow from nicotine stains. The makeup department has to cover it. The still photographers are given explicit instructions. If Audrey has a cigarette in any shot, edit it out before publication. The image must be protected. America's princess doesn't smoke, even though everyone on set knows she does. Even though Donald Spoto's biography will later quote crew members describing her as biting her fingernails to the quick, smoking constantly. The contrast between Audrey's public image and private reality is becoming a carefully maintained lie. 1956 to 1959. The smoking gets worse. War and Peace. Funny Face. Love in the Afternoon. The Nun's Story. Every film, the same pattern. Audrey arrives on set anxious, insecure, convinced she can't do it. She smokes to calm down. Between every take, she smokes. During costume changes, she smokes. And here's where it gets almost absurd. During the filming of The Nun's Story, Audrey plays a nun. Obviously, her character doesn't smoke, but Audrey does. Crew members will later report that during breaks, Audrey would hide cigarettes inside her nun's habit. She'd walk to a private corner of the set, pull out a cigarette from somewhere in the folds of her costume, and smoke it quickly before the next scene. A nun smoking. The visual is ridiculous, but the addiction isn't. By 1959, Audrey Hepburn is smoking 3 packs a day minimum. Some days when the stress is particularly bad, even more. Her health is already being affected, though she doesn't fully realize it yet. 1960s, the height of her fame. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Charade. My Fair Lady. How to Steal $1 Million. Audrey Hepburn is one of the biggest stars in the world. Her image is carefully controlled, elegant, refined, healthy. She becomes a fashion icon. Everything she wears becomes a trend. She's the face of sophistication. And behind the scenes, she's smoking 60 cigarettes a day. In 1988, a Sunday Mail reporter will describe meeting Audrey in her suite at Claridge's Hotel. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but she seized a large scotch, thankfully. "I'm not a lush," she explained in that distinctive, faintly foreign accent. A legacy of her Dutch upbringing. "But I've been up since 4, and I need a pickup. She chain-smoked too, clearly ragged with exhaustion. This is the real Audrey. Not the princess, not the icon. A woman who drinks scotch at 4 in the afternoon and chain-smokes to deal with stress. The photographs from film sets tell a story the public never saw. There are hundreds of behind-the-scenes photos of Audrey Hepburn smoking. On the set of Breakfast at Tiffany's, cigarette in hand between scenes. On the set of Charade, smoking with Cary Grant during breaks. On the set of My Fair Lady, stepping outside to smoke during the endless dubbing sessions where her voice was being replaced by Marni Nixon. But none of these photos were published at the time. They stayed in studio archives. The published photos show Audrey drinking tea, reading scripts, laughing with co-stars, never smoking. The cigarettes were edited out of every single image. Because Audrey Hepburn couldn't be seen smoking, it would ruin the illusion. 1965. Everything changes. Or it should. The U.S. Surgeon General requires warning labels on cigarette packages. Caution, cigarette smoking may be hazardous to your health. It's the first official acknowledgement that smoking kills. The evidence is overwhelming. Lung cancer, heart disease, emphysema. Smoking is deadly. Everyone knows it now. Audrey knows it. She's 36 years old. She's been smoking for 20 years. And she doesn't stop. She doesn't even cut back. She knows it's killing her. She knows she should quit. But she can't. Or won't. The addiction is too strong. When friends ask her about it, she has a witty response ready. I have some sins. It's charming, self-deprecating, very Audrey. And it's a deflection, because the truth is, she's tried to quit and failed. Multiple times. The addiction has her completely. If you're starting to realize that even the most elegant, most disciplined people can be destroyed by addiction, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this story. Because it gets worse. 1970s to 1980s. Audrey mostly retires from acting after Robin and Marion in 1976. She's 47 years old. She's done with Hollywood. She lives in Switzerland with her partner Robert Wolders. She gardens. She spends time with her sons. She's peaceful, happy even. And she smokes 3 packs a day, every single day, for 40 years now. The damage is accumulating. Her teeth are yellowing. Photographs from the 1970s and 80s show it clearly. The teeth that were white in the 1950s are now stained yellow-brown from decades of nicotine. The makeup can't hide it anymore. Her skin is aging faster than it should. Smoking destroys collagen, causes wrinkles, damages skin elasticity. Audrey is in her 50s and looks 65. The war took decades off her life. Malnutrition permanently damaged her body. But smoking is taking the rest. She's aging badly, and she knows it, but she still doesn't stop. Here's what smoking was doing to Audrey Hepburn's body during these decades. Every cigarette destroys approximately 60 milligrams of vitamin C. She's smoking 60 cigarettes a day. That's 3,600 milligrams of vitamin C destroyed daily. Her body can't keep up. She's constantly depleted. Her immune system is compromised. Her circulatory system is damaged. Her lungs are coated in tar and carcinogens. Her risk of cancer increases exponentially every year. And she keeps smoking. 3 packs a day, sometimes more. Let's do the math. 60 cigarettes a day for 48 years, 1945 to 1993. That's 21,900 cigarettes per year. Multiplied by 48 years equals 1,051,200 cigarettes. Over 1 million cigarettes. Audrey Hepburn smoked over 1 million cigarettes in her lifetime, each one damaging her body a little more, each one increasing her cancer risk, each one bringing her closer to the death that was, by this point, inevitable. 1988, Audrey is 59 years old. UNICEF asks her to become a goodwill ambassador. She says yes immediately. It gives her life meaning after retirement. She travels to Ethiopia, Somalia, Sudan, Bangladesh, the most desperate, dangerous places on earth. She visits refugee camps. She holds starving children. She gives speeches at the United Nations begging for funding, for food, for help. She's using her fame to save children. It's noble. It's beautiful. It's her redemption arc after a lifetime of Hollywood glamour. And it's also killing her. The travel is exhausting. The conditions are harsh. She's exposed to diseases, to extreme heat, to contaminated water. And she's still smoking. 3 packs a day, even in refugee camps, even surrounded by starving children. The addiction doesn't stop just because she's doing humanitarian work. Crew members on UNICEF trips will later report seeing her step away from filming to smoke. The irony is devastating. She's trying to save children while actively killing herself. She's a health ambassador who can't stop smoking. She's the face of UNICEF. Life, health, hope. And she's committing slow suicide. 1989, Audrey Hepburn is 63 years old. She's been traveling constantly for 4 years. Ethiopia, Somalia, Bangladesh again. She's exhausted. She's losing weight. And then she starts having abdominal pain. Severe pain. She ignores it at first. She's always had stomach issues, probably from the hunger winter malnutrition. But the pain gets worse. She finally sees doctors in Switzerland. They run tests, CT scans, biopsies. The diagnosis comes back, pseudomyxoma peritonei. It's a rare, aggressive cancer that starts in the appendix. Cancer cells produce mucus that fills the abdominal cavity. It's incredibly rare. Only 1 or 2 cases per million people per year. It's also deadly. By the time it's diagnosed, it's usually too late. And Audrey's is advanced, very advanced. The doctors want to operate, but the prognosis is grim. Even with surgery, she has months, maybe a year. Pseudomyxoma peritonei isn't definitively linked to smoking. But here's what is. Smoking is a major risk factor for colorectal cancers, which includes appendix cancer. They're in the same family. The carcinogens in cigarette smoke, benzene, formaldehyde, arsenic, dozens of others, travel through the bloodstream and concentrate in the digestive system. They damage DNA. They cause mutations. They create cancer. Audrey smoked 60 cigarettes a day for 48 years. She pumped over 1 million cigarettes worth of carcinogens through her body. Did smoking cause her appendix cancer? Impossible to prove definitively. But medical experts who've studied her case universally agree. It almost certainly contributed. Dr. Gabe Merkin, who wrote about Audrey's cancer, states, "Smoking is a strong known risk factor for many cancers, including colon cancer, and Hepburn was a lifelong heavy smoker. Her cancer, pseudomyxoma peritonei, is in the same family of cancers as colon cancer." The connection is clear. Smoking didn't just contribute to her cancer. It probably caused it. The surgery happens, October 1992. Doctors operate for hours, trying to remove the cancer. but it's everywhere. They remove as much as they can, but they can't get it all. The cancer has spread throughout her abdominal cavity. When Audrey wakes up from surgery, the doctors tell her the truth. They couldn't get it all. She has months. She goes home to Switzerland, to Tollechenas, her small village on Lake Geneva. She's dying, and she knows it. And here's the most heartbreaking part. She finally quits smoking after 48 years, after over 1 million cigarettes, after decades of knowing it was killing her and being unable to stop. She quits. Because now, it's too late. The cancer is terminal. The damage is done. Quitting now won't save her. But she quits anyway. Maybe out of spite, maybe out of regret. Maybe just because she finally can, now that there's no point anymore. November 1992. Audrey is home in Switzerland, dying slowly. She's in constant pain. The cancer is growing. She's losing weight. The body that survived the hunger winter at 88 pounds is wasting away again. She's down to 90 pounds, 85. The cancer is consuming her from inside, but she's at peace. She's surrounded by her sons, Sean and Luca. Her partner, Robert Wolders, never leaves her side. She's done everything she wanted to do. She saved thousands of children through UNICEF. She lived an extraordinary life. She's ready. On January 20th, 1993, Audrey Hepburn dies at home. She's 63 years old. She should have lived into her 80s, her 90s. She survived Nazi occupation, starvation, war. She survived all of that. And then smoking killed her. 48 years of addiction, 1 million cigarettes, all because a 16-year-old girl inhaled petrol fumes like perfume and demanded a cigarette from a liberating soldier in April 1945. Here's what makes this story so devastating. Audrey knew. She knew smoking was killing her. The 1965 Surgeon General's warning was explicit. The evidence was everywhere. But she couldn't stop. That's addiction. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how disciplined you are, how elegant you are. Addiction doesn't care about your Oscar wins, or your UNICEF work, or your iconic little black dress. Addiction just wants to kill you. And it will, if you let it. Audrey let it. Not because she was weak, not because she didn't care, but because nicotine addiction is one of the hardest addictions to break. Harder than heroin, according to some studies. The physical withdrawal is manageable, but the psychological addiction, the stress relief, the ritual, the identity, that's almost impossible to break. And Audrey tried. Multiple sources confirm she tried to quit several times over the decades. But she always went back. The stress of Hollywood, the pressure of fame, the anxiety of UNICEF work. Every stressful moment sent her back to cigarettes. Until finally, at 63, dying of cancer, she quit when it was already too late. The cover-up continued even after her death. Obituaries mentioned her appendix cancer, but rarely mentioned her smoking. Biographies published in the 1990s mentioned it in passing, if at all. The official Audrey Hepburn estate controlled her image carefully. Elegant, refined, healthy. Not a 3-pack-a-day smoker who died of cancer. It wasn't until the 2000s that biographers like Donald Spoto started documenting the full truth. The behind-the-scenes photos started surfacing. The crew testimonies became public. The airbrushed magazine photos were compared to the original negatives, showing the edited-out cigarettes. The full picture emerged. Audrey Hepburn was a chain smoker for 48 years. She hid it successfully from the public. Hollywood protected the image, and smoking killed her. Let's talk about the photos, because they're the smoking gun. Pun intended. In 2016, a website called Everything Audrey compiled dozens of photographs of Audrey Hepburn smoking. Behind-the-scenes photos from film sets, candid shots from the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s. In almost every photo, she has a cigarette. On the set of Breakfast at Tiffany's, leaning against a wall between takes, cigarette in hand. On the set of Charade, sitting in a director's chair, smoking. At Claridge's Hotel in 1988, chain smoking during an interview. The photos are everywhere, but almost none were published during her lifetime. The ones that were published had the cigarettes edited out, airbrushed, erased. The image had to be protected. America's princess doesn't smoke. Except she did, constantly. The evidence is overwhelming. The cover-up was systematic, and it worked. Most people who love Audrey Hepburn still don't know she was a heavy smoker. They don't know she died of smoking-related cancer. They don't know she tried to quit and failed. The myth survived even as the woman died. Here's why this matters beyond just Audrey Hepburn's personal tragedy. The 1950s and 60s were the peak of cigarette advertising in America. Tobacco companies spent billions convincing people that smoking was glamorous, sophisticated, healthy. Doctors endorsed cigarettes. Athletes endorsed cigarettes. Movie stars endorsed cigarettes. And the movie stars who didn't officially endorse them still smoked on screen constantly. Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's, with her long cigarette holder, iconic, sophisticated, elegant. Young women saw that image and wanted to be like her. They started smoking to be sophisticated like Audrey. Tobacco companies loved it. They didn't have to pay for the endorsement. The movies did it for free. And Audrey, who was genuinely addicted and genuinely suffering, became an inadvertent advertisement for the product that was killing her. The irony is brutal. She never wanted to promote smoking. She was ashamed of her addiction. But her image did it anyway. And how many young women started smoking in the 1960s because they wanted to be elegant, like Audrey Hepburn? Thousands, tens of thousands, more. And how many of them died of smoking-related diseases? The cultural impact of her addiction rippled out far beyond her own life. The final tragedy is this. Audrey Hepburn spent her last 5 years trying to save children. She traveled to war zones and famine zones. She held dying children in her arms. She gave speeches begging world leaders to provide food, medicine, clean water. She used her fame, the fame that was built on that carefully controlled image, to do genuine good in the world. She saved lives, thousands of lives. And while she was doing it, she was killing herself. 3 packs a day, 60 cigarettes, even in refugee camps, even surrounded by dying children. The addiction didn't care about her humanitarian work. The addiction didn't care that she was trying to do good. The addiction just wanted its nicotine, and it got it. Until it killed her. At 63. Far too young. Far too soon. She could have lived another 20, 30 years. She could have saved more children, done more good. But smoking took those years from her. Smoking took everything. In 1993, Audrey Hepburn receives the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. President Bill Clinton presents it to her sons at the White House. The citation reads, "In recognition of her work as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador." Also in 1993, she receives the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. It's presented at the Oscars ceremony in March, 2 months after her death. Gregory Peck accepts on her behalf and gives a moving speech about her compassion, her dedication, her grace. He doesn't mention that she smoked 3 packs a day for 48 years. He doesn't mention that she died of smoking-related cancer. He doesn't mention that the woman being honored for saving children couldn't save herself from nicotine addiction, because the image still matters. Even in death, America's princess, elegant, refined, untouchable, not a 3-pack-a-day smoker who died at 63. The lesson here isn't complicated. Addiction doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care if you're Audrey Hepburn or anyone else. It doesn't care if you're elegant, disciplined, successful. It doesn't care if you survived Nazi occupation and starvation and war. Addiction just wants to kill you. And nicotine addiction is particularly insidious because it's so normalized. In the 1940s and 50s, everyone smoked. It was sophisticated. By the time society realized it was deadly, millions were already addicted. Audrey was one of them. She tried to quit. She failed. She knew it was killing her. She kept smoking. That's not weakness. That's addiction. And it killed her. At 63, in 1993, 48 years after that first cigarette in April 1945. 1 million cigarettes later. The girl who survived the hunger winter couldn't survive her own addiction. If you want to understand why even the most seemingly perfect people carry invisible struggles, subscribe to this channel. These stories aren't about tearing down icons. They're about understanding that everyone, even Audrey Hepburn, is human, flawed, struggling, addicted, and sometimes, no matter how much you want to quit, you can't. That's the truth Hollywood never wanted you to see. But it's the truth that matters. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. This is Audrey Hepburn, The Hidden Truth. From wartime horrors to Hollywood secrets, we uncover what they've been hiding for decades. Subscribe to discover the dark truth behind the elegant image.